It is Ardbeg Day 2022, and you're here with a single malt review. I'm Dave, and this is Tim.
Indeed, it is. Ardbeg Day has rolled around again, and the first in-person Ardbeg Day we have been able to attend since the beginning of the pandemic, so that's a good sign that things are returning to normality. We've been able to go and rock on and taste things at the coalface, which is maybe a bit of an Ardbeg tasting pun. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Ardbeg Day, a whisky that in the past I have maybe besmirched for being astonishingly expensive. It's still astonishingly expensive. We can't afford it, but I was able to get hold, very luckily and very good of them, this wee sample. So we can still taste it and still bring you our thoughts on the
This
matter.
Ardbeg Ardcore, this year's special bottling,
Yes, indeed.
is a bit different in that it uses some roasted black malt. Usually malt barley is just a fairly light roast, whereas as we tried previously with the Archie Rose single malt whisky from Australia, if you use a very dark, more kind of like a dark beer style roasted barley, then you get some wildly different flavours.
Yes, indeed. In their case, they used nothing but roasted type malts, more like you'd use in brewing, and the effect was quite profound. I don't think we're looking at something that's nearly as alien in this case. It's more of a little nuance, bit of sort of coffee, dark chocolate coming through from the spirit rather than the cask, which is not the usual direction.
This bottling is 46%, could be a fairly young one, no age statement.
Oh, I'd say we're probably between 6 and 8 years old for the casks involved. Here, that's typically what the age that these things kind of come out as. And Ardcore, which I will give them points for. That's a pretty good. Almost said it automatically. Ardbeg. Pun. It's Ardcore, pretty good. Pretty good use of their +1 to that one. Ardbeg Day releases are always at least sort of 60% shtick. The quality of the shtick goes up and down. I'm going to say this one, good quality. Good quality, although I will preface that with saying that I think the punk aesthetic and $240 for a bottle of no age statement whiskey is maybe a little bit incongruous, but I will say no more about the price, and we will leave this as a quality judgment all on its own.
The selection of vaguely punk pin badges for those who attended the day and are so inclined.
No expense was spared. Insert image of a slightly embarrassing pose in front of a drum kit that I got up to over there, but never mind. Move your bottom line. So without further ado, what have we got here?
Well, a whole lot of peat. This is, of course, an Ardbeg.
It sure is.
There is a very sweet note and also a hint of dark chocolate.
Yeah. Aside from the chocolate and coffee, which is supposed to be the sort of the deal here, I find this a very fresh and fruity whiskey. Astonishingly fresh and fruity. And I don't know if that's particularly Ardcore, but
just coconut and lemon.
Yeah, lemon for days. There's white fruit. There's Speyside characters in here. It's really very sort of playful, vibrant, youthful, fresh and fruity dram.
Chocolate, nuts. It's quite a lot going on.
And it's 46%, so natural strength. Well, natural strength as it comes out of the bottle. It's pretty fresh and fruity there too. It is unmistakably Ardbeg. It's peaty as all hell.
There is a pleasantly briny peat up first. It's positively brackish. That gives away very quickly to a lot of sweet notes. So candied nuts, milk chocolate. Still some of that dark chocolate and cocoa.
It's sort of fruity up front, and then you get the more, and this is probably the black malt coming through.
Yeah.
You get those coffee chocolate characters coming through.
It's on the end, some hints of stout, some nice rich dark beer, a little bit of Marmite. I'd say so far this is one of the more interesting and complex new Ardbegs I've tried.
Yeah, it's a goodie for sure. I was also able to taste the entire range at the Ardbeg Day Spectacular, which was very good of them. So I'm able to catch up with the whole thing and see where this sort of slots in. And it's pretty keenly close to the 10, which I think it's gone on a bit of an evolution recently. The 10 was a bit richer and denser than I remembered it from the last few years. And this is definitely it's a fresher, fruitier, but no less peaty by any means version of that one.
I've added some water to mine, and giving Ina some well-deserved scratches on the gin has given it plenty of time to absorb that water and aerate. That's added a hint of what is it? Maybe some astringency to my nose. Perhaps even a dash of chlorine.
It certainly brings out the more mineral, tarrier notes, I think.
But on the tongue, that has gone. It's gone very crisp. That has brought out some sharp green apple, still with that slightly salty peat.
I love it when it goes, that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
That's the best sign you
Bit
can
of
get.
salty caramel there too. It is, I think, the water has helped to kind of harmonise the flavours brought through from the peat with the other flavours coming from the malt. So it's
good stuff. It's obviously young whiskey, but it has a dynamism and a verve, even, that is entirely beneficial that you really only get from these young peated whiskies. And so I rather like it. Affordability completely aside, this one is a very, very strong Ardbeg, I think.
Got to say, it is good to see a Scotch distiller now, someone actually in the Scottish hardcore, as it were, of old distilling country, experimenting with the darker malts. That was, I think, some people found it a bit controversial when Archie Rose went away and used these.
I think maybe more than half the people found that a bit controversial with the Archie Rose kind of experiment. But like I said at the time, I think experimentation with more characterful malt bills is a way of shortcutting the aging process, because you get these better diversity of flavour from birth.
Completely, I absolutely agree, and it's great to see it being done here to good effect. Like, this is for the first time in quite a few tastings, and Ardbeg, I would go out of my way to buy this if it was within my price range.
Yeah. So scores on this one. I've been quietly chewing away on this one, and it hasn't trumped my favourite Ardbeg, which has always been and remains Ugadal, which I was able to catch up with and is in very fine form this year. They have really, really brought the sherry back to Ugadal in a way that I think the last maybe 8 years of releases really was a bit absent, but super, super on point there. So I thought that was a marvellous, marvellous drop. That would be well into the 90s was I scoring that one. But this guy here, I like just fine, and I think I'll give it an 88. What do you think?
Well, funny enough, that is exactly the same number I've had in mind. This is well up there. It is high quality whiskey. It is high quality Ardbeg. It has enough of a difference to it. It's not just relying on the novelty of the gimmick and the branding, but no, it's got actual points of difference and points of interest that elevate it and make it really worth a try.
Yeah. Well, punk or otherwise, another good one from the Ardbeg Day release. So cheers for that one. And cheers to the whiskey heroes over at Whiskey Law who were able to tap me a wee sample there. We would not be able to do it without you guys' help. So thanks once again. Anyway, I don't even know what you say to the punk thing. You what, mate? Hey!
Yes, Anja.
Flipping police cars.